Welcome back to My Hero Academia Anime Review episode 140. This I'm reviewing the 300. It's the 118th episode of the series, The Thrill of Destruction. Yes, that is seriously the name of this episode. This episode adapts from, get this, okay, page 19 of chapter 267. Pages 15 and 16 of 269, pages 2 and 19 of 270, the entirety of 271 272, and the first 11 pages of chapter 273. You could definitely say this episode basically just starts out with basically just putting stuff in that was cut off from last week. Yep, My Hero been doing this since last season. Now, the first 4 seasons of the show, they never did this, where they cut, like, pieces out, they cut pages out of an episode, and then put it in next week. They started doing this, like I said, with season 5. 5 is what they started this with, and they've continued doing this. I don't know why Bones is doing this for, but they are. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, what the heck happened this episode? Well, now, they kind of take all this that they did here, they call all this that was cut, they basically rearranged it in a more proper order. We first start off with, get this, Fat Gum transporting 4 superheroes. Of course, Fukumoto noticing that Hawks is where Dabi is. So he leaves, jumps out, and then he basically ups and protects Hawks. And he picks and goes down the floor, and then, of course, the Mount Lady come by. And then, of course, where he flies by to get him medical attention. And there's a funny bit, which I'm so happy the anime kept in. Where basically we see Mount Lady knock back. And then we hear Fat Gum saying, "Booty alert." Actually, I think he says butt alert. Yep. Because here comes Mount Lady's rear end. And then we hear her say, "Ow." Something she did not say in the manga. That was complete anime original. And of course she would say that because she fell over from a big height because her power gigantism. Yep, everybody's basically dealing with whatever stuff is going on there. Yeah, and this is like, the way it's been going this past few episodes, this whole season so far is like one episode focused on the Jaku Hospital, the other focused on the villa. This one's all focused on Jaku Hospital. And then we cut immediately over and we see Fat Gum transporting, like, take your 3 heroes out, and of course they change his line from the manga, where he says, "Oh, reckless flying is," and he changed it to, "You didn't pay for your fare. You either pay for the Fat Gum taxi fare," which I thought was so funny. Yeah, that was hilarious. I actually appreciate Kyle Herbert basically saying that because that was funny. And aside from that, there's a brief moment toward the end of the episode, mostly but everything else that's at Jaku Hospital. But what's there is that we see that, I believe it's X-Less, I believe his name is, where he used his laser eye to basically destroy a machine. And somehow that machine enacts electricity that basically, get this, awakens Todoroki. Yep, it wakes him up. And then he says, "I'm cold." So then he proceeds to use his decay thing on X-Less, one of 2 heroes to get this. The other is quite shocking to say the least. Yep. And of course you all these Nemu, and of course all the heroes coming in to help everybody out, like 13. Haven't seen her since like season 1. She's barely done anything since season 1. And we see these other heroes break in to help out with Endeavor, Present Mike, and a few other heroes. And then of course we see, and of course, do bring up the fact the hospital is going to be completely evacuated, so all the civilians are out of there. And then, of course, we see Todoroki where he's causing himself to collapse. Meanwhile, though, on the outside, we see Deku, Ochaku, Bakudo, and Shudo, along with Ingenium and Froppy, will evacuate civilians. And of course, we see Bakudo trying to give Chocolate Oli for helping her out. He's like, he's like, "I'm busy here." And of course, Ochaka's like, "Oh, just accept the thing. She's being nice." And then, of course, Deku hears a voice, and it's the first host of All for One. Now, One for All. The first host, if you don't remember who this guy is, he is the brother of All for One. Yeah, he's All for One's, I believe, his younger brother. That's what I've heard, who is actually, because basically the way they explain it in the series is that the power origin comes from All for One himself, where it comprises of quirks that he actually stole, and of course, people just keep unlocking our powers. And they do bring up the fact that All Might and Deku both were quirkless, and well, Deku is the most recent host. I think he says he's the ninth host of the All for One quirk. Yep. And of course, he notices something strange happening. Of course, he looks over at the Jaku Hospital, which is purple light, which is Todoroki. And then the ground starts collapsing. Yes, the ground and the buildings are collapsing. So everybody starts racing everybody out. Of course, Deku tries to stop it with a St. Louis air shot. That doesn't work. Shudo basically just has ISO put up. And of course, you have Deku using his black whip to basically transfer people. Yeah, transfer people away. And of course, then we see Todoroki after he gets out of the basement of the hospital, just been completely destroyed. The hospital is gone. Of course, the PlayStation wonder what the heck is going on. We've lost all contact with the Jaku Hospital. And Burning is basically trying to contact with anybody who's there. And I do mean anybody. Nobody responding. Not Endeavor. Oh, by the way, Crest himself, who is, well, appearance-wise, he just looks like the spitting image of the Shield Hero from Rise of the Hero. He gets killed. So we got 2 deaths in this episode. But we briefly see Rockload in this episode for a quick cameo. He doesn't get. I think he says 1 line and that's it. Yes, I appreciate though that Deku, Bakudo, that basically have Deku, Ochaku, Bakudo, Shudo. These 4 get more than 1 or 2 lines. In January, I think he got 1 line the whole episode, and I think that Frappe got 2 or 3 lines, but. Yeah, a lot of the airlines went to Deku. Surprisingly, Fat Gum didn't get any lines. I think he got maybe 3 lines the whole episode. Oh, by the way, after Todoroki killed X-Les, he took his cape. Yep, he took his cape. And he proceeds to have a flashback to when he talked to Overhaul, which, thank you, Funimation, for bringing back Overhaul's dub actor. I think his name is Curran Jeff, I believe his name is. He actually, from what I've read, the style of voice he gave Overhaul, it's like if he came down with bronchitis. That's what he based his performance on, from what I read. Great to hear the guy again. I believe this is the first time since season 4 he's been seen. Even though it's a flashback, but here's a little fun fact for you. He's gonna return in the very next story arc. I believe in the very next story arc right afterwards. Unknown if the season gets that, because all I've heard so far for this season is they're going to adapt just 1 story arc, and that's the Paramount War arc. And here's the thing. Because this episode got to episode 273, you might think, okay, how many more chapters have been adapted? The answer is 33. Yep, 33 to go. Well, actually more like 34 right now, because they haven't finished up in 273 yet, but let's see. Yeah. But by the episode aired in Japan today, they only got the 278. That's as far as like, oh, by the way, Giganton, I believe his name is. Gekomakia. Yeah, he basically wakes up. He gets informed by Todoroki. It's time to basically take action via. He basically communicates it via a smartphone. Yes, I'm surprised that it doesn't sound great. Yep. But damn good episode. Can't wait for episode next week. Okay, so that's episode review. Next episode going to be One Piece. And then the Great Job when I defeated it. Okay, next video. Bye.